Hey Gators, hold on. Hey Gators, welcome to Well Up on the Down Low. My name is Connor, and I'm a project assistant for mental health and wellness here at Manzanita Square. What's a project assistant? To put it simply, my job as a project assistant is to assist all of you in your wellness journeys while living here at San Francisco State, mostly by providing you with resources, information, and educational experiences to further your understanding and awareness of mental health and wellness. Especially in today's world, mental health and wellness is an extremely important topic. Unfortunately, it's something that is overlooked all too often by people our age. These unprecedented times have brought about a new set of challenges, hurdles, and difficulties that can affect people's mental well-being. Now, more than ever, it is essential for people to be conscious of their mental health. Your next question might be, what is Well Up on the Down Low? Basically, this is a series of short videos hosted by me, PA Connor, that will explore some of the most important characteristics of wellness. This series will provide you with insight from wellness educators, professionals, and even a little bit of input from residents just like you. So now that you've got the lowdown on Well Up on the Down Low, let's get into today's episode. With move-in behind us and the academic semester well underway, most of you have been able to settle into your routines here on campus. But let's be honest for a second. This is not the experience that you envisioned for yourself while signing up for classes this last spring. Living and learning here in the same place on campus can present a new set of unique challenges, ranging from the days seeming to blur together, to a serious lack of motivation, to even homesickness. Today, we're going to be focusing on those very difficulties and learning ways to successfully combat them, all while making the most of your experience here on campus. So, come on and let's get into it. To start off, we're going to hear firsthand about the move-in experience by one of SF State's very own residents, Gabriella.
So my name's Gabriella Silva. I'm a junior here at San Francisco State. I'm currently living in Manzanita Square.
Hey there, thanks so much for joining today. I'm just going to ask a couple questions about your experience thus far. Feel free to answer however you'd like. Overall, how has your transition to living here on campus been? Feel free to answer on a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 9. Because of like COVID and now like the fires and the bad air, it's kind of hard to fully explore the campus and see everything that it has to offer.
Have you been able to properly adapt your daily routine to fit the unique characteristics of living here on campus during this time? If so, in what ways?
Definitely different than my routine back home. I'm definitely more productive here. I, don't really have many distractions because I can't really socialize too much. So I'm definitely more focused here, and I do a lot more things like cooking, cleaning.
Have you experienced any homesickness at all?
Experience homesickness from time to time. After my first week here, I actually went home because I was feeling homesick. I find that really like indulging myself in my work here and just staying productive helps me feel a little bit less homesick. And also, FaceTime and such. We have a lot of technology we can use to communicate back home.
So, now that classes have begun, how have your academically induced stress levels been?
I'd say I'm probably more stressed than I would have been if I had in-person classes. Everything's kind of just left to the mind. I don't have anything like really in front of me. I have to like check iLearn and my school email like 10 times a day to make sure I'm not missing anything, which is kind of stressful. But what helps me is like making lists and checking things off as I go to make sure that, I'm getting everything done, and it kind of reduces the stress of it.
Have you been able to practice self-care?
For me, it's cooking. I cook a lot of food now. Like back home, my parents would cook, and I never really got to do that. So here I cook a lot, and it's really like therapeutic to just make different things and have time to like experiment.
All right, one last thing. Do you have any recommendations at all for your fellow residents regarding ways in which they themselves can successfully adapt to life here on campus?
Not to get caught up so much in like the social life of things, and more so just stay academically focused, because that's really why you're here. And also, I feel like you shouldn't be afraid to try a little bit of everything so that you can like find your place and you're not constantly like searching. I feel like that's one way. Another way to easily adapt to this.
Thank you so much for speaking with me today. It was really a pleasure.
Thanks for interviewing me today. I hope future residents will really consider living here on campus.
So it looks like Gabriella was really able to focus on some key aspects in her daily life to create a positive experience. But let's be real here. For some of you, that might be a little bit more difficult. So today I brought on someone who is full of information on managing situations just like this. Wendy Tobias.
Hi, yeah, my name is Wendy Tobias, and I am the director of the Disability Programs and Resource Center here on campus. So we help our students and faculty and staff with disabilities with any reasonable accommodations, and provide a lot of other programs and resources. I actually used to work in the residential life program back in the dinosaur ages. So I'm familiar with Mary Park Hall and all the other halls, and I lived on campus for a while. So that is close to my heart.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for coming on. All right, let's get into it. So from your experience, what are some signs that someone can notice themselves that may suggest they are having difficulties adapting to a new living environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing to keep in mind is that we're all the best experts on our own selves. Being in a new living environment, there are always going to be some challenges. You know, if you're checking in with yourself in sort of your body or your mind and things aren't feeling quite right, that's okay. And, you know, sometimes those things pass. And other times if you think, hey, like I might need to talk it out a little bit, that's cool, because everybody needs to talk about these things, and no one is alone in these feelings, especially in this strange environment of the COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything that's going on. You know, and there are really a lot of resources on campus. The residential life staff are really great, either resident assistants or the area coordinators or any of the other staff. But yeah, notice yourself, notice what's going on. And if you need to take a moment, or if you need to just talk about it with someone, there are awesome resources to do that.
What are some recommendations that you have for students living here on campus that are attempting to manage a new living environment?
One of the things that I think is probably particularly salient right now is feelings of isolation and the inability to do some of the things we all were so used to doing. One thing that I found is connecting with friends or family. And yeah, that means sometimes picking up the phone or FaceTime or Zoom or however you like to do video calls. I know for me that sometimes makes me feel connected, and to hear someone's voice and just share what's going on and stories and just live life. And, you know, sometimes when we feel isolated, sometimes we can feel a little down or maybe even depressed. You know, sometimes it's about creating a routine in your day. It can be really helpful. Early in the morning, I'll go eat breakfast, or if I can, take a walk or do some kind of something that's kind of good for ourselves. And for some people, that's just getting up and taking a shower, and that's fine too, whatever works. So creating a bit of a routine that's kind of like structured, but not so structured that it feels overwhelming. Like, okay, like noon is going to be my lunchtime or whatever time, you know, just kind of going, oh, yep, this is what I've got going, so that it doesn't feel like we're just sort of out there in the ether, especially during these times. So those are some thoughts to the living environment.
What about a new learning environment?
Yeah, that one's a big one. And I know some of us have been adjusting to that since spring. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that every single person is adjusting to a new learning environment, whether it be your faculty, whether it be the students, or even some of the student affairs or other staff here on campus. It's all interconnected, right? And so one of the things that people are maybe more aware of right now is that concept maybe you've heard of Zoom fatigue, because we have classes and meetings, and basically we're, you know, as humans, our body and our eyeballs are just not meant to like stare at one space in a screen the whole time. If we were in a classroom, we'd be sort of like looking at the instructor or having groups with their peers and moving around, but we have to consciously make an effort to do some of that moving around or take breaks. I know that instructors are already aware of those things because they have this program on campus that supports faculty teaching and learning, and that's one of the things all the faculty have been talking about is how to support our students and faculty in combating some of the Zoom fatigue. And so if you're writing a paper, you're doing your work, taking intentional breaks or setting timers on your phone to make sure you get up, go get a glass of water, take a little walk, or do something else that's not looking at a screen. So like if you do the 20-20-20 rule, so like every 20 minutes, look at something at least 20 feet away, like out your window or something, for at least 20 seconds. So 20-20-20. And that can really be something that combats eye fatigue or headaches and things like that for folks.
What are some resources that you know of to assist residents living on campus with managing these challenging situations?
You can definitely talk to your residence life staff, your RAs. They'll speak with you confidentially about things. And those are people that have probably gone through some similar things when we're feeling down or homesick or whatever the case may be. And that way you don't have to speak to, like, say, your friends if you're worried about not really wanting to disclose some things. Definitely also confidential is the counseling and psychological services staff. They have different things, whether it be individual or group type services that people can do depending on comfort level or interest or need. And sometimes doing a group can be really cool because it creates a social community, which can be nice. Another is, of course, my program, the Disability Programs and Resource Center. So if a person has or thinks they have a disability, say depression or anxiety or other physical disabilities or learning disabilities, and folks are feeling like those types of things might be creating some challenges in the living or learning environment, come see one of our disability specialists. We have 5 different specialists, and you can sign up for an appointment and talk confidentially about what's going on and see if there's any support our office can provide as well, and that can sometimes be really helpful. The other resource I wanted to mention is the Dean on Call program, and if you haven't heard of it, basically the Student Affairs and Enrollment Management area of campus has the Dean on Call program to help folks navigate the university system, or if problems come up, whether it be like kind of like financial aid or registration type issues to, more like personal issues, like what's going on, in relationships, or, problems with having enough money for food or other things like that. So definitely utilize Dean on Call if you're interested. And that's another really great resource. And one other, one not to be forgotten sometimes, but, if you have something that relates to your schoolwork, don't be afraid to talk to your faculty a little bit about it and let them know what's going on, because the most important thing is if you're having any particular struggles, it's good to let your faculty know, because faculty are more willing and able really to help when they know something might be going on. And you don't necessarily have to tell them your whole life story, but sometimes just letting them know can really help them understand, like, hey, you might be going through a hard time right now, and they might be able to work with you.
Thank you so very much for the incredible resources and insight.
Thanks for having me. That was really great. Again, if there's anything my program can do to assist, please do reach out to us. Or if you just want to give me a shout out since you saw me on this video, I'm happy to talk with you. So please reach out if you need anything, and have a really great semester.
Take care. So as you can see, there are a plethora of strategies, methods, and mindsets that you yourself can adopt to help with living on campus in times like this. I really hope you've been able to absorb some of them and will do all you can to implement them in your daily life. Remember, your mental health and wellness is not something you can overlook. It should always be kept a priority. And keep in mind, there are a wide variety of resources and people here at SF State that are devoted to assisting you in your wellness journey. Thank you so much for joining me today on Well Up on the Down Low, a residential life production. Tune in next episode with me, PA Connor, to learn more about mental health and wellness and what you can do to maintain it. Before I go, I just want to remind you all, wash your hands, wear your masks, and social distance. If you have any comments on today's video, feel free to click the link below. If you yourself would like to be involved in Well Up on the Down Low, click the link below. See you later, alligator.